Hi there. So we've finished now developing the backend side of our application and of our project. So we are now very successful to sending the data to the server and saving the data in the server. Okay, so as the application, the iOS application that we're now developing, it's the front part or directly the tool which the user gonna use. So based on that, we need now to integrate the feature sending this request directly from the app. So as you remember, this part we successfully finished. So we need now to integrate the function which allows us to send from the application this information to that file, and register PHP will communicate with the access PHP, and it will save the information in the server. So this is what we are willing and planning to do now. Okay, so I will go now to Xcode. So we're coming back to our Xcode where we successfully developed login screen and register PHP screen. Okay, guys, so we will program one behavior, and the behavior, if you use official application on the Facebook, when you finished all the stages of registration, and finally when you have when you select the gender, so either you select female or male, it throws you to the home page. So what we want to do here, whenever we go through the page 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fifth, the last one, whenever we select a gender, female or male, we want to be thrown to the home page. Means we want to be successfully registered whenever we click one of these buttons. So when you select the gender female or male, it has no action events. So we will have to now program it. What I will do is I will call Assistant Editor by clicking this middle button in the top right corner. I'll go to Register BC, I'll open it here, and select your, let's say, female gender button. I will scroll right to the bottom. I will hold Control, left mouse click, drag, and just right before cancel, I will just release it here. The action we want to be, the connection want to be of type action, and we need to give a name to the function. We will write gender button underscore clicked. Okay, so here we can use touch-up inside, and the sender will be sender, and we click connect. Okay, so what we want to do is based on the both photos, we want to execute the same function, which will be register. Okay, we can do now the following. We can use two ways to do this. Way number one will be here to create a separate function for both of them. So to create a separate function, let's say when female is pressed, this registration will be executed, and one more time when we press, let's say, male, we will declare another function. Or another method will be to keep one function for both of these buttons. So I would like to go with the most easiest one, where each function is having its own function, where each button is having its own function to be executed. So this is the method which I would like to declare. Okay, how we can do that? Okay, don't do anything now, I'll just explain you. Okay, I'll hold Control, left mouse click, drag from the mail button, and this is the way number one I'm explaining you now. So female, will select this button. You don't need to follow, I'm just explaining you. So we can go to attributes inspector here of female. Here, tag, make sure that it's a 0, and male, make sure that the tag is 1. So what we can do here, if sender means any item or any object which executes this function. Sender.tag equals 0, then it will be female. Else it will be male. Okay. Here make sure that it's of type UI button, because not every object is having a button. Okay, you will be now able to successfully execute that. So what we can do is we can here, instead of print, write the function which sends the data to the server, where the gender here will be selected as female and here it will be selected as male. Okay, so I'll go to register, something like this. Okay, password, then the birthday, then I click female, it throws me the message that it's female, and that one shows me the message that male has been selected. So this is way number one which we can be using. What can be the way number two is, I'll select the male button, I will disconnect this connection, I will declare here Control left mouse click drag, I'll declare here another function like this, print male. Okay, so we can use that one as well. So, or we can use this method of implementing the logic where each of the button is having a different functions. Let me just quickly take you through. You can drink your tea and relax. Okay, so female, male, still it works. Okay, so now I will break the connections. I'll delete this function, and I will connect the male to gender button clicked function. Control left mouse click drag to that one and release. Okay, make sure that you have here only one connection. Okay, so I'd like now to explain to you something. I'll go to our database, select our database, then we're going to users table, we're going then to structure. If you have paid attention, gender here we have of type of varchar. So what I think will be the best idea, because as you know, your Facebook app will be adjusted to the language which your device is configured for. In my case, it's in English. Okay, so instead of saving agenda as male or female, the best and the much smarter logic will be if we put here 0 for female and 1 for male. So based on the numbers, so we will not put here male for English, or for, let's say, for German it will state the German translation. No, we don't want to do this. So here we will put identificators where male will be, where 0, let's say, will be for females and 1 will be for males. Okay, so in this case, what will be the best idea? Make sure that you place a tag, you put a tag for each of the buttons. Select your female button, go to Attributes Inspector, tag, make sure it is 0. Then select the female, select Attribute Inspector, make sure the tag is 1. So we will be sending the tag of the button to the server. When we will click male while registering, here under gender, here will be 1. So we'll send directly the tag. Okay, so this is what we are planning to implement. Okay, we'll now so to summarize, make sure that your female, when you go to connections inspector, it has only one function associated with gender button click, and for male in connection inspector you have only one function it's associated with. This step number 1. Step number 2, place a tags for female 0 and for male 1. And step number 3, go to register VC, and let's start implementing. This is the one. I will write here the comment. This function is executed whenever male or female button has been clicked. Okay. So if you remember, guys, when let's say we write localhost FB, then we got register. So we are executing this URL. So we now need to execute the URL from our app. Let's see one of the way to do this. Swift for or Swift run URL. How to open an URL. Load string from a website. For example, how to open a URL in Safari? No, how to load a string from a website. This can be an example. Or we can call it Swift HTTP request. This is the one which we need JSON. So this is HTTP request, http://. Okay, how to make HTTP request with JSON body. This is what exactly do we need. So this is the very simplest method to do this. Okay, what we need is, first of all, the first initial step will be to declare the URL to be executed. Okay, so as you see, we'll simply just declare the URL variable, which will be storing the URL itself, which will be storing the link. Okay, this is what we will do now. And here we will write, in this function we'll write let URL, means create a constant with the name URL, which will be storing the following URL. We write URL, open the round brackets, let's select URL from the string, this is the one. Okay, so make sure that we will declare the exact address to the file. In my case, it will be localhost fb register php. Do not put the question mark. So you can copy that one, localhost fb register php. So in case you gave a different name to your project, which is FB, which is in examp htdocs, then FB. So make sure that you give this folder name in the URL and the register PHP file access. Okay, so we'll copy that one and we will place it here. Make sure that there is a HTTP ://localhost fb register.php. Okay, so what we want to do more, we want to append this part of the string. So it is, we want now to send email, we want to send first name, we want to send last name, etc., like password, gender, birthday, etc. So how to do this? Let's come back here. So we can, I believe it doesn't show, yeah, here we go. So they have declared this JSON string, then they attach it to the HTTP body. We will do something similar to that one. Or what we can do is, we can declare let body equals to here in quotation marks. We write the first, what we are writing here will be the email equals to, then we will put here email text field dot text. So we want to pass as an email the text which is in email text field, which we got in email text field. So this is the one which we want to pass. Okay, so then we put and, then we've got first name equals to, then left slash, and in the round brackets we write first name text field dot text, and don't forget exclamation mark. Then we'll put again and last name equals to left slash, and in the round brackets we write last name text field dot text exclamation mark. Then we've got the password. Password equals to left slash open and close round brackets. And here we write password text fill dot text exclamation mark. Then we write and. Then we've got the birthday. Birthday equals left slash, and in the round brackets we write birthday text fill dot text exclamation mark. So if we come back here, after birthday we've got gender. Then we'll write and gender equals left slash, in the round brackets we write gender. No, here we'll write sender dot tag. So we want to pass the tag of the sender. Sender means the tag of the button. So we want to pass either it will be 0 or it will be 1. So this is what we're doing. So let me just explain you. We'll go to our NetBeans. Here you see that under email we will be casting request or received key under the or value under the key email. This email, this first name, last name, password, birthday, gender must be equals to that one. Make sure that you made no typo under these values. Okay, so the next step will be to assign this body to the our request, because this is URL, it's just storing the URL. This is the body, it's again, it's a string, it just stores the body. So we need now to create a request. We can write let request equals to URL request, open the round bracket. This is the one URL with the URL which we declared right above. And here don't forget to put exclamation mark. So this means force down casted, means we're sure that this URL it exists. So that's why we can with no issues to put exclamation mark. Okay, so the next step will be to assign to this body, to assign to this request the body. We write here request.http body equals body. Okay, the next one. So as you see here, whenever we do registration, we pass all of these values like email, password under the directly in URL. But whenever you will be trying to register using the web page, web browser, or Facebook, it will never pass these values in the URL. So these called the difference, which I've explained in another course where we learn how to build a full TweetDeck clone with the PHP and Swift. So these are, if to say in a few words, there are two types of methods of passing the information. First is pass through post. Second one, pass it through get. Okay, so the method which we're using here when we pass it via URL, it's called get method. And when we pass it via post method, so this won't be here. So it will be executed like this. And so post is more secured method. A request here, it means it will fetch post and get method. So this one is a unique method. Or we can use here get. Get, there will be no difference. If we use here post, we will be unable to execute this one. So get means whenever it fetch the keys, the values under the key email, when it passed through the link like this. And the post method will be when we pass it through the app and no one can see this. So post method is the most secured method. So here body is as a string, we need to pass it as a data. Data using UTF-8, or you can just write here with no string, just .UTF-8 like this. So it can fetch, let's say, the Russian or Chinese alphabets. Okay, then what we want to do is we want to send this as a, make sure that it's var, Okay, request, we will send it, we will declare the method, we will write here post method. Okay, excellent. And so as the next step, so this is the URL request. This is what we're doing here. We're just executing the same like in the browser. This is what we're doing here. So we created the variable request, which will execute request to the URL, that one. Then we associate or assign concatenate to this URL, this body, whatever follows the question mark, that one. Then we cast it as a post method, so it's secured, no one can grab the information we're passing to the server. Okay, when we finish completion of the project, change all requests to be post. This is very important. When we finish the full project, change request to be post method. Okay, and what's the next step? So once the URL is ready, we need now to send this URL or to execute it. Okay, so to execute this URL, we need to open a session, which is URL session.shared.datatask with URL, and we want to handle completion. Means when the execution is finished, we can handle received data, received response, or received error. Okay, URL. We need to cast it with the request and completion handler. Request will be request, that one which we have created. Then completion handler. Here we will write data as data. Then we got, or you can just cast it like this, response, and we got an error. And here put dot and write resume. Okay. And here we will be writing the code which will help us to handle the request. Okay, so here I will write the comments for you where we are declaring URL of the request. Then after that we are declaring the body to the URL. After that we are declaring request with the safest method post that no one can grab our information. After that, this is what we've done here. Here we are executing. Let's write it by step. Step 1 will be we're declaring all of this. Step 2 will be to execute created above request, and here we will handle all what we will receive from the server: errors, responses, datas, etc. So since we have declared the function, and when we click the button it will send a request, we need now to know how to handle a request. Let's go and do this right away.